New iPhone, new cases. Let's check all these out. Dave Taylor here with my new iPhone 14 Pro, and every time I get a new phone, I need to get a new case. Now, some people say, you don't need a case. They design these phones so well and they're made of such rugged materials. But let's be candid. If this thing's going to drop off a table onto a marble or concrete floor or the great outdoors onto a rock or something, I'd rather have something else absorb the impact than my $1,000 smartphone. So, however well designed they are, I'm still a fan of cases. So, I actually contacted a bunch of case companies and said, hey, send me your best stuff. And they went hog wild. I got so many cases. I've broken this into 2 separate videos. So this first one, we're really going to be focused on Magsafe protective cases. And as you can see, I got a bunch. I got from Catalyst, we have one from OtterBox, we have 2 from Speck, I have 2 from Torras, and 2 from Smartish. So lots of fun stuff, and it really represents 2 different approaches to designing cases, because some of them are more budget and some of them are more like, we don't care how much this is going to end up costing. We want the best, most solid, most protective case we can possibly build. So, speaking of which, let's start with that. This is the Catalyst Crux, and props to them. They're one of the companies that's really working on having environmentally friendly packaging. So everything's recyclable, even says 100% recyclable. They use soy-based inks, and it's just a really nice case. As with most of these cases, and I'm going to just throw the containers on the floor as I go. As with most of these cases, this one's not sexy. It's not some eye-catching design or anything. It's just low-key, and it's intended to protect your phone. You notice on the inside that it has that telltale symbol for MagSafe. So the iPhone 14 is yet another generation of Apple iPhones that uses MagSafe as a way to do wireless charging that also gives you the advantage of having magnets to make sure it positions it properly. So I've put the phone in the case, and this is a pretty rugged case. There's big corner protection here, and that's one of the big things they say. It's also fingerprint resistant. The back is also scratch resistant. And the things that I look at when I look at a phone case is I look at how much it's raised above the screen. I look at how precisely the holes are cut versus the actual phone design. And then I also look to see if it does wireless charging. And this, believe it or not, is a Google Pixel Qi charging stand. Happens to work really well. So first things first, let's go ahead and put the phone on here and see. So you can see there, possibly, it is wirelessly charging, as I would absolutely hope with the MagSafe on it. And then in terms of the raised bezel above the screen, that's actually a perfect height. It's just a little bit, just enough that if I drop my phone on its screen, then the screen's not going to get any of that impact. I know my phone's fine because the case has taken that impact, and that's its job. Now, the Crux is interesting because it's also a 2.5 mil spec test. So what they've done is this thing can feel your phone dropping 10 feet or something. It's actually pretty rugged. A mil spec, I think, is 4.5 feet or something. So if my phone fell off this table onto the floor, then the regular mil-spec 1 should be enough, but this is 2.5 times that. So this is kind of over-engineered, which is exactly what I like. Now, in terms of the cutout hole precision and everything, they absolutely nailed that, as really all of these cases do. I'm not sure why I still test for it at this point, because I think that they get such precise measurements from Apple before they start designing their cases that it would be really weird for them not to be spot on. And perhaps the most interesting one is for the camera, because the camera from the iPhone 13 Pro to the iPhone 14 Pro just moved, I don't know, like a 0.5 millimeter to a side. So if this was a 13 case, it would work for the most part, but the camera wouldn't be quite centered in that camera hole. So this is the real thing. Now, one of the fun things they have with this case, and one of the challenges then is to take it off. And let's see if I can do that. There we go. So one of the challenges, or sorry, one of the fun things they have with this is it does have holes for a lanyard, and this black one includes a black lanyard, but they sell other color lanyards. So if you want to use the black one because it's nice and straightforward, but you really are partial to bright orange, you can use that as the lanyard color with just a couple of dollars upgrade, and it's solved, and you get a nice cheery combination of colors. Now, we do need to talk about price, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to defer price until the very end of the video. Hopefully you'll watch all the way through. And speaking of which, go ahead and click on that subscribe button, subscribe to my channel, click on that bell, turn on notifications. Cool, really helps me, gives me more leverage with these companies so I get more gear so I can give you more reviews. So, win-win. This is the Catalyst Crux. Big fan, very straightforward, but very cool. Now, from here, we're gonna go to Torras. And Torras, I have to say, this is a new brand to me. I haven't seen any of their cases before, and they sent me 4 cases, of which I chose my 2 favorites. And, you know, you can see this is the kind of packaging that's clearly not gonna be at somewhere like Best Buy because you can't see what's inside, but that's okay. This is a company that sells online. And they sent me 2 different styles of case. So this first one, this is what they call the magnetic case. And you can see it's sort of translucent here, and then it's opaque on the sides and it's rubber edges. And I'll go ahead and slip my phone in, and the bezel is, again, really perfect. It's just a little bit, like maybe a millimeter above the surface of my screen, which is great. The hole cutouts, perfect. Does it work with wireless? Well, let's find out. It should do. And that comes up. So it's Magsafe Friendly. And here's one thing that's really fun about it is it has the buttons on the side, right? 1 and then 2 on this side that are black, but it comes with other color buttons. So if you are very nimble fingered, you could actually change the color of the buttons on this case, and that's included in the case. So I really like that. This also comes in 4 different colors. So this is just their black, opaque / translucent, and it's a nice one. So what about the other Torras case? Well, that one's a little different in design, and it's possibly one that you might appreciate more depending on how you use your phone. So this one I will open up, and it doesn't let you change buttons, but it does have, huzzah, oops, other side, it has a kickstand. And that's a great feature. A lot of people, I see so many people like at restaurants where they're just sitting and their phone's tilted against a salt shaker or something and it keeps sliding down. Well, with one that has a built-in kickstand, then you get the protection, you get the same bezel. This is pretty small, but enough. Hole cutouts, everything's hunky-dory. But of course now, I have that stand, and so if I'm watching a show on this or something, or just sharing my favorite videos with friends, this is great, super convenient, and you just close that up and you're ready to roll. And so is it wireless friendly? The answer is yes, it is. So the material that they're using is sufficiently magnetically neutral, I guess, that it has the ability to wirelessly charge through the case, even though it's not per se a MagSafe case. So this is transparent, translucent, and it does come in 2 different colors. This is the black. There's also a blue that, again, is translucent too. Those are the cases from Torras. And then let's look at Smartish. Now Smartish is fun because they're, again, another new brand, and they're really edgy about stuff. I really like their packaging and everything. It's really like, hey, we're hip, we're just having fun with this, which is great. So this is the Smartish Grip Monk, and it comes in 8 different colors. And one thing a lot of people will appreciate is it has a microfiber inner lining. So if you like to really baby your phone, then it's going to keep your phone very happy to be in the case. Now this is a pretty minimal case, minimalist case, so it's pretty small and there's no protrusions. If you compare this to like the Catalyst crux, you can see it's like two completely different design philosophies, which is exactly what it is, and that's fine. Now, it has a really good feel to it, and the sides are grippy, even though the back is a little bit smoother. The cutouts are spot on, and they're nice and big. That's one thing I should mention, is that particularly the power plug is a nice big cutout. So there's plenty of space, whatever kind of weird cable you're going to use. But hey, maybe you don't want to use cable, maybe you want to use wireless. So it does wireless charging. So super easy. Gripmunk comes in 8 colors. Again, I'll get to the prices at the end, and I'm going to pick my favorite out of all of these too. So this is quite the bounty of different cases, and trying to keep track of everything. Let's see. And then this one's also really fun. And you know, I don't personally put credit cards on the back of my phone, but both of my, actually, I guess all 3 of my kids actually do that with their iPhones. And so they really like these wallet cases, because the trick is you want to have it be small and slim enough that it doesn't make it a hassle, but you want it to be secure enough that it's not going to fall out. And as you can see here, there is some sort of tension it's pushing against. So the cards, it's not going to fall out, however enthusiastic I am with it, which is exactly what you want. So this is the Wallet Slayer, and it comes in 4 different colors, none of which were this blue. So I'm not sure where this blue came from. So maybe it comes in 5 different colors. But it is actually pretty nice looking. And the buttons are spot on. Again, nice big cutouts, just enough bezel to work. And usually these aren't Magsafe friendly, but this one is now. Now, if I put in 3 cards, and particularly if something is like the Apple credit card, that's metal, and it's probably going to block that signal. So I won't say that this is definitely Magsafe friendly. As is right now, it does work with Magsafe. Probably if you're going to load it up with credit cards and stuff, and it can take up to 3 cards, then you're probably going to want to actually plug it in on the lightning port. Doable. Okay, so that's this one. Now we're going to switch to a little bit more spendy units. So let's start with this. This is from OtterBox, and I got to give OtterBox props, because they've been making cases forever, and their cases have been historically a little less than thrilling and exciting. They've just been really tough and rugged, but they're working on that. And especially when I get to the next chapter of this review video, you're going to see some really cool designs. But even this one is pretty darn attractive. This is the OtterBox Lumen, and it comes in 4 color combinations. This one's actually called Tiara. So I don't know. Don't actually have any tiaras. Maybe it's not for me, but it's also one of these where it's a little trickier to get your phone in. I wonder if there's a special trick to this. Let's see. So I suppose the upside of having it be difficult to put your phone in is it's also difficult to fall off your phone. So you're getting a lot of protection there. Let's see. There we go. Okay. Oof, that is a lot of work. It is definitely raised a little bit higher above the screen. The cutouts, everything, it's just perfect. I mean, OtterBox has been making these cases forever, and it is Magsafe friendly, so you can see up here that it is charging. There's a lot to like here, and it's tough and rugged. Not only is it tough and rugged, they say it's 2 times mil-spec. So that means you should be able to drop this from the top of your head onto concrete and not have anything happen to your phone. Why you would be balancing your phone on the top of your head is a whole nother story, but suffice to say, if you did, this is a really nice phone. Now, it is sort of a weird material. It's a tiny bit sticky. I'm not sure that's something that I like, and I feel like it might get like pocket lint stuck to it. I don't know if it does that. I'm guessing it probably doesn't, but it has that sort of feel to it. So that might be something you want to feel it somewhere in a store before you buy it, because it is pretty spendy. So that's the OtterBox. And then finally, but not the least, we have 2 from Speck, starting with their resurrected candy shell line. So this is the Speck Candy Shell Pro, and it's actually a 2 color. though it's probably pretty hard for you to see that. This is orange, and this is more of a lavender color, and it's very striking, very handsome. And Speck, again, has been making these cases for iPhones for probably the entire history of the iPhone line. Easy to put on, certainly easier than the OtterBox. Sorry, OtterBox. And actually a really cool design. It's very attractive with these corner supports and stuff, and has a nice bezel on the front. The cutouts are big, and in fact, again, that bottom power cutout is a nice big plug. And is it Magsafe friendly? And the answer is yes, it is. So everything you'd want in a case, and cool colors. So that's the Speck Candy Shell Pro, which means we're down to the last case. Oh my gosh. Ugh. I'm not sure if phones are designed for this task either. So this is probably the most fabled and famous of all the cases I'm looking at. This is the Speck Presidio. And the Presidio line, they've been making for, oh my gosh, as long as I've been having iPhones. And this is the Presidio Grip. So it is MagSafe. You can see that on the interior design, and it has lines cut on it. So it has a fantastic hand feel. So if I put my phone in, I feel like, there we go, it was easy enough. It has a nice bezel. It probably is the highest of all the ones I've looked at. And the corners have that sort of reinforcement in case odds are your phone's gonna fall on a corner. It can handle that. And the buttons are actually, it's a two-tone design. So this is like copper, brass maybe, brass on a dark green. And of course it has that telltale Speck logo on the back, but everything's really nice about it. It has a nice big cutout for lightning. And since we saw that the inside is MagSafe, we know it's going to work on the charging stand. So there's a lot to like here. And the Presidio Grip comes in 5 different colors, and both of these actually also feature microbands, so they're both antibacterial if that's something you're worried about, and our hands get kind of grungy if you think about it, so that's nice to know. This will support your phone up to a 13-foot drop. So now you can have someone sitting on your shoulders and have it fall off of their head onto the floor. Again, why you're doing that, I cannot explain, but that's how it all goes. So what this means is we need to talk about price. So I'm going to talk about price backwards because I have this on my phone. So this is the Speck Presidio Grip, and it's $49.99. This is the most expensive of all of the different phone cases I looked at. And then the Speck Candy Shell Pro is $24.95, which is actually quite inexpensive for a Speck case. The OtterBox Lumen is $49.95 at OtterBox.com. Pretty much everything else is available through Amazon, and there's a lot of OtterBox cases available through Amazon, but I couldn't find the lumens there. So if you really love this, then this is when you'll want to go to the OtterBox site directly. And then this one is the Catalyst Crux, and it's also $49.99. So these 3 really are the high end of these phone cases. They're the expensive, but they're really tough. And then the Smartish wallet case, this is the Wallet Slayer. This one is $24.97, or $24.99 actually, I think is the price. And then this is the Grip Monk. It's $19.99, making it the least expensive of all of the cases I'm looking at. This is the Torras Magnetic, and it's the $25.36. It starts out at $32.97. It's on discount down to $25.36. And then this one's the Mars Climber. This is the one that includes the little built-in kickstand, which is a nice additional feature. And this one is $29.97 down to $24.37. So lots of cases, enough that it actually confused me a little bit. And of all of these, if I had to just pick one that I'm going to have on my phone all the time, well, it's not this Speck case, although I really like the Presidio. It's just been a tough, rugged case for a long time. My problem with it, it's not really a problem, but my thing is that it's just not very interesting looking. Enter this. This is the Speck Candy Shell Pro, and I'm gonna make it the winner of my little challenge here because I like that it's easy to put on. It has great protection. It is kind of expensive, but not horribly so at $24.95. But I just love that two-tone color, and it comes in a lot of different two-tone options if you're not a big fan of this sort of orange and violet or lavender. So definitely, really, you can't go wrong. All of these are going to protect your phone, and all of these are going to give you MagSafe charging and everything. So that's about as much as I can possibly tell you about all of these different phone cases. So go get a case, whether it's this one or one of the other ones or something else. Lots and lots of great choices. Hope this was super helpful, and I'll catch you in my next video.